we're getting beat up, but the people who didn't vote for him are laughing at us.
Well, what's interesting at the outset is he is attempting to gain their support by sympathizing with them. And as it turns out, he's a registered Democrat.
Yeah, but if you guys could help me extract these people, I just need to get the other officers out. Oh, you need to get out. They're trying to get out. I can do that. Can you help me?
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-herrera, and you are watching or listening to the JTH show. Today, let's talk about super mega troopers, man lives in airport for 3 months, and Miss Trump's temper tantrum. Or Mrs. I don't know. Whatever. But first, roll the intro. All right. Thanks for coming back. I really appreciate if you're here. I really appreciate those 20 to 30 people that watch the show religiously, according to YouTube analytics. Maybe they're just lying to us to make me feel good. You know, it's like, oh, you're definitely being watched besides your mom and your sister, and your wife. But yeah, we're back. Thank you for being here. Josh is back. Don't worry. I see our analytics increasing there. Of course, I got to get him back.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I'm firmly here now. You can't get rid of me, so here I am.
And the girls rejoice. Thanks for watching the show, guys. And remember, you can watch this episode, or also rather listen to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. Okay, so with that, let's break into the first story, and that is out of the BBC headline: the Capitol Police officer in a MAGA hat. Or MAGA, I should say, hat. What's the real story? So what is the story, Josh?
Well, during the riots at the U.S. Capitol, it was reported that Lieutenant Tarek Johnson was spotted wearing a Make America Great, or MAGA, or Make America Great Again hat, and coordinating with Trump supporters. But with a newly surfaced video, it suggests that actually this was a ploy to help his group of officers to escape the Capitol building. So let's have a look at the clip. Nod's putting the clip here.
And we're getting beat up, but the people who didn't vote for him are laughing at us.
Well, what's interesting at the outset is he is attempting to gain their support by sympathizing with them. And as it turns out, he's a registered Democrat.
Yeah, but if you guys could help me extract these people, I just need to get the other officers out. Oh, you need to get out. They're trying to get out. I can do that. Can you help me? Let's go. I can help. You can help? Okay, you can even use my megaphone and I'll follow you. Who do you got to get out?
The lieutenant actually offered his megaphone. Apparently, he was trying to garner trust, trying to elicit their help, and maybe that was a way of doing so. But it was just the oddest thing I have ever seen in my life.
Hey, just let me hold on to you. Okay, we're here. We got you.
They're actually kind of protecting him. There's one person in front and one in the rear. Said, "Okay, brother."
We got you. Hang on. I'm with you, brother. Okay.
The person in the rear has his hand on his back to support him so he doesn't fall. As a former police officer, one thing that always disturbs me, but it's unavoidable, is walking through a crowd that size with your firearm exposed.
We're okay. Oath keepers. Mike,
Okay, so I think we can see there that this officer, what was his name? It was Lieutenant Tarek Johnson, was actually working with the Trump supporters. But after this ploy, the officer has been suspended. He hasn't actually publicly come out to speak about the incident, but the Capitol Police told the BBC it is being investigated, and the behavior of the officer is being investigated for his behavior during the riots. So, JT, what are your thoughts on that?
So here's the thing, right? So when it comes to what we just saw, right? If you don't see the video for yourself, like we just showed you guys, you think, man, his behavior, he's probably one of those police officers hitting, people with his baton, or maybe also joining the protest or insurrection, or God, I don't know what name, riot. of the Capitol, right? And the reason this, by the way, continues to be news is because at the beginning, much like many things we see on mainstream, it has its its bias, right? It has its perspective. You only heard, the Capitol gets stormed, kind of like by freaking stormtroopers, and they'll pew pew everywhere, and there's explosions, and then Luke came in, and no, that's not what happened, right? People always make it seem because of, again, these still images, like, oh my God, this is another, I don't like to say the word because I heard you get censored, but civil, guerrita, right? And it's, I don't think, and I said this before, as bad as it was, right, as much as it should have never happened, there were people like this officer who either A, cleverly grabbed someone's hat, right, and tried to steer the people that were there, in the right direction, in the sense of getting out of the building, calming down, working with them. Or, right, he was part legitimately of MAGA, and he just, he wasn't with it. He was first, taking his honor of being an officer and doing his job. But again, at the same time, having a good balance. Now, there was in the same article, they were saying that he's actually a registered Democrat, right?
That's correct. Yeah, in the video, yeah. This is just like a little bite-sized version, so this show doesn't go on for too long this time. But he is actually apparently a registered Democrat, according to the article. But it's quite strange. I think the guy is either one of two things. He, like you said, he's either just some guy who's kind of abusing his power, or he's like a friggin' genius. I mean, that is such a great idea to think on your feet that quickly. It's like, okay, I'm in front of a crowd of very angry people whose next movements could be very unpredictable. So what do? I got to blend in,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would say, if anything, that's genius. Now, here's what I will also add, right? And that is, this is a typical behavior that I think most police officers don't tend to immediately, right, resort to, because of this, of having the media now, or in this particular case, his boss, right? Because I don't think the media fired him or suspended him, but rather his boss, to save face. Maybe it's like, oh, we got to suspend you. We got to, distance ourselves from you. But here's what I'll add. When the BLM protests were happening, many police office or stations, rather police stations that actually joined these demonstrations. There's even like very famous videos of sheriffs or chiefs rather, literally kneeling with the crowd, right? In what do you call it? What's the word in agreeance? There's a fancy word, whatever. In solidarity, right? Saying, oh, we're with you guys. Okay. They were like clapped. They're like, oh my God, perfect rather. Great. These police chiefs deserve a medal for, again, kneeling with us in solidarity and, being a human, controlling the situation, not letting it get out of control. And those were the cities, and I heard on the news, that were at least destroyed, versus the police stations where the chiefs, took their role of policing, not kneeling, and if anything, acting aggressive with the crowds, right? As they grew, more disorderly, the police officers starting on putting on riot gear and throwing, those gas things, whatever they call the canisters. So what I would say is, shouldn't this guy be applauded? Because he kind of did exactly what those chiefs that I just described did with BLM, and saying, even, by the way, because we don't know if all those chiefs that kneeled with BLM truly believed BLM and their principles, but they did it again because they're like, hey, look at this crowd. It's better for us to kind of make them feel like we're with you than for them to destroy our city. So if anything, this guy doing something very similar, right? Whether or not he believes in everything MAGA believes, but just grabbing someone's hat or something, or getting it from somewhere, doesn't matter, and then sporting it and then trying to control the crowd, shouldn't that guy be applauded? Or is it just because he's with MAGA, he's being suspended and potentially, by the way, canceled and everything else? You know how it is, right? That comes along with supporting Trump.
Well, yeah, I understand that he he got suspended because I think there were some photos which came out before of him with the MAGA hat. Right. So Lieutenant was seen with the MAGA hat without any context. So they're like, oh, crap, this is a bad image for the police. We got to suspend you. Sorry, dude. And then now this video comes out.
But that's the double standard, though, right? That I'm saying. Like, what about those chiefs? I repeat myself, that nailed with BLM, right? They did it to control the crowd. They did it to not make things worse. That's their way of doing it, right? Because yes, they could have. This same guy could have taken his role of being a Capitol Police much more serious. I'm sure they have access to certain, deadly firearms, right, or weapons even, and he could have taken that stance, right, and started beating up on people, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys, anybody in the comments want to,
No, I think without trying to lose all of our democratic or kind of leftist fans, if there are any out there, but not all conservatives are evil. Yeah,
thank you. Wow. It's going to rain today. For Josh to come out and say that, guys, I'm just telling you right now, I'm starting to turn him, or he's just faking it until he makes it.
Well, yeah.
A little bit of both. But yeah, I mean, listen, people, again, in the comments, let us know where you guys are at. As always, we try to be somewhere in the middle. And I think in this particular case, if anything, the last message here is that it sucks that somebody, that clearly was trying to do better for the situation, right? Controlling it. It's like, get out of here. You're suspended. And it's like, what? I mean, I was trying to help, but... Anyways, let's move on to the next story. And that is, headline, man lived in Chicago airport in secret for 3 months as virus made him, quote, too scared to fly home. So tell us a little bit about that one.
It's just, as soon as I saw the headline, I was like, hell yeah, this has got to go in the show. Because we've covered a lot of heavier stuff more recently. I think the last show was kind of heavy, so it's nice to have a little bit of light relief. But wow, 3 months living in an airport. Let's go into it, shall we? So a 36-year-old man has lived undetected in a secure section of Chicago's O'Hare International Airport for 3 months because he was, quote unquote, too scared to go home due to COVID-19. Well, that's what the U.S. prosecutors have said. Aditya Singh is charged with felony criminal trespass to a restricted area of an airport and misdemeanor theft. Okay, so this guy, Mr. Singh, who survived on food from other passengers, which kind of is on the contrary to what he said, is like, I'm too scared to go home, but let me just get a bite of that sandwich,
I'm scared of COVID. You all have COVID. Hey, can I have your leftovers?
Exactly. It's like, are you gonna lick that plate or?
Yeah. You know what I will say? This reminds me so much of that movie with Tom Hanks. When you were talking, I couldn't remember the name. I just found it. The Terminal.
Oh, The Terminal. Yeah.
You remember that? Where I don't know if the guy's from Russia or something, but in the movie, according to this, his name is Viktor Navarosky, and he's a guy that gets stuck. Spoiler alert! Sorry, in an airport, and he can't leave. But in his case, it's not COVID. It's something to do with like his passport or some nationality or something like that. But anyways, he ended up, you watch him in his journey and staying in the airport and everything. And as soon as you said that story, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I thought you were messing with me. I'm like, hold on. So somebody totally tried to pull a Tom Hanks, this time not staying in an island, with, what was that? But this time it's like, you know what we should do more is live in airports. Now, I'm going to say this. As a guy that's been in plenty of airports, there are some that you can lose track of time, and there's a reason why people will lose their plane, their plane takeoffs all the time, and it's not that easy for some people to actually remain. So some of you guys are asking, like, how the hell did no one notice? Well, there are airports that are basically 24/7, 365 days a year. I mean, sure, there's some times where they have more people, others, they maybe in the red eyes, and that night they don't. But it's actually, I'm literally looking at it right now, that is actually more common than we think, where people will stay in airports for weeks. Now, this guy, months. Damn, he broke the record there. But yeah, I mean, according to this article that I'm seeing here in front of me, it happens more often. I literally just Googled how long can you stay in an airport. It is actually undefined. If you have business within the airport in the United States, by the way, right? Now there are, obviously regulations that you can't enter certain areas, where like, the maybe where the people, the watchtower or whatever they call them, when they're calling in place, you obviously can't enter those areas. But generally speaking, it looks like you can just live at an airport. So I don't know what they're charging him for or why. Did that article say?
Well, it just said for felony criminal trespass to a restricted area of an airport and misdemeanor theft. Yeah, so that's what it said.
Okay, so yeah, he definitely tried to enter an area. So I guess he should have just stayed in the lobby or something. You should have watched that movie all the way. All right. That's an interesting story. All right, guys. And with that, let's move on to the next story. And that's one that I found interesting. Comes out of the Daily Mail. Headline for this one is Melania Trump's final snub at Jill Biden as she becomes first lady, not to give her successor a tour of the residence of the White House. Yeah. So she's like, I'm not going to give you, a baby. I'm not going to give you the tour. You do it yourself. That's her accent. That's pretty damn close. You tell them, baby. You tell them. Come on. You know that's what they're doing. You know what I'm going to do to them, Trumpy? What? I'm not going to give her the tour. It's like, you think we're going to win the White House that way? Possibly. We don't know. It's stupid. I was telling Joshua before we started. What is she thinking? How is that going to make you look any better? Even if you don't care, you do understand that Trump, and if anybody at this point knows Trump, I would hope it's her. Although there are rumors that they don't even talk to each other a week. But anyways, you would think that it's like, hey, maybe we should, go out with the best image because in 4 years, we might be able to take you back. And now imagine this, by the way, the crazy media. If in 4 years, hypothetically speaking, Joe Biden says, I'll do the same back to you. I won't give you the White House tour. Although at that point, Melania's going to be like, because I already know it. Okay. But anyways, right? It's just stupid. No matter how way you put at it. I mean, some of you loyalists for Trump or Biden, right, will either say, we told you they're petty, right, on the left side. And on the right, will be like, good. Yeah, screw her. It's like, guys, listen. When the campaign is over, when the rallies are over, and it's over, okay? It's time for all of us, unanimously, right, to agree that we're going to go back to what you can consider normal, right? Put aside the pandemic in terms of politics. Yeah, you lost. You get to go home to Mar-a-Lago, and in 4 years, if you want to, and you're, I guess, allowed by your own base, try again. But the pettiness needs to stop. Like, I actually found it very entertaining when during the campaign trail, they used to like throw jabs at each other, and Biden saying, I will take in all back in the dumpster in the alley, and everybody's like, oh, are you? Oh, look at you, I'm gonna take him back to the alley.
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish.
Dude, calm down. Take your pills. It was entertaining. It was funny. And Trump too, with his tiny big hands, right? Messing with all the other candidates, Rubio, and, making fun of, pretty much everybody. Pocahontas. I'm like, oh, whatever. It's politics, right? He's on a campaign trail, campaign mode, right? It's like almost everything goes, almost. But now it's over. It's time for you to assimilate that it's over, that you didn't win, and go back to being at least cordial and civil, right? And telling your base that exactly. Guys, I lost. We're going to try again in 5 years or 4 years. It's time for us to stand behind this guy, right? Because at the end of the day is what he wanted, right? I don't know if he ever came out and said it, but from the Democrats. I know he said it about the actual officials, the bureaucrats. The Democrats need to work with us. Okay, dude, now it's time for you to tell your base. Guys, it's time for us to work with the Democrats. Like at one point 4 years ago, right? Plus at this point, we asked them to work with us. So that's, I found this article ridiculous, right? Not the article itself, but her actions, if they're allegedly 100% true, right? Because right now it's in the air. It's some gossip like always. But to go as far as saying like, I'm not going to give you the tour, I'm not going to continue tradition and be civil. Now you're starting to lose any part of me that ever wanted to agree with you. You know, and I think for many civil Republicans, even people that are just conservative, not necessarily Republicans, you're going to start losing them as well, right? Because now you're being petty.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're completely right on that one. It's like he might have been surprised how many people on the left he could have won if he just left graciously. Everyone at least would have respected him a little bit more. But now it's just like I don't think any hot-blooded conservative is gonna. They're gonna be on any hot-blooded conservative is gonna be on their side. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we ain't nobody's bitch. We ain't gonna show the tour in the White House. No. Of course they're not going to do that. I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of apt, I guess you could say in a way, because it's like it's the whole Trump campaign has been that. It's like just appealing to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what it is. You know, appealing to that group of people. And I'm very sorry, I guess, if you were watching this and you feel like you're basically talking about me. I'm not, but hey, listen, if the shoe fits, right? If you're one of those people that's like, yeah, we're gonna make it as difficult for them as we possibly can because. Come on. You know what I mean? Like it's over, you know, like, and I've said this before on the show, for someone that publicly said that I had, you know, some points to the credit of Trump. And then in the past, I've said, hey, I actually kind of like some of these policies. I will tell him, you know, if somehow he's in front of me, or he was, I'm sorry. It's over, dude. Tell your people to shut the fuck up and yeah, like continue on with tradition. In this case, by the way, the last point of the story is even Michelle, right, gave her that tour that's supposed to happen, right? And some of you guys will be like, it's just a tour. What are you worried about? Listen, again, let's be reasonable here. It's part of tradition. You can argue that we should be conservatives and traditional in America and keep America this. This is part of keeping America great, right? I'm going to use kind of reverse psychology for some of them, right? For some of these conservatives. This is part of it. Part of keeping America great, again, according to Trump, is don't forget about what made America and the traditions and blah, 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 what's beautiful about us. Well, this is part of it. All right? So tell your wife to zip it up and to do her own job. Keep it classy. All right? And you know, well, I'll be happy. But anyways.
We don't expect much class from a guy who has like a gold tower in New York, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, a golden toilet, doesn't he, as well? Yeah,
exactly. Or yeah, well, you know, you can't. I mean, like there's the old Mexican expression is like naco. No,
naco. I like it. You know that word is a word that gets all Mexicans going like, oh shit, he said naco. Oh shit. Oh man, people are gonna all of our Mexicans are gonna be, you know, they're gonna be like, yeah, fucking naco. But yeah, I mean, whatever. You know, again, guys, not earth shattering stories. Just filling you guys in on what, you know, maybe you're not aware of because everything else you're already aware of. We have corona cases, you know, we have the vaccine. Someone over here is fighting with another influencer. This is just, you know, something to get your head out of all that just for a little bit and get you just really watching us. That's probably why. But exactly, yeah, I think that's the last story, right?
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, yeah, we would call you out on social media, Donald, but I heard you got blocked recently.
Ouch. Josh is a beast. Josh is a lot more open about where he stands than I am. You know, I'm the guy in the middle, and Josh is like in the middle. I'm over here. No, I like it. That's why it's going to be a great show. All right, guys, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, remember, you can catch a show on any of our podcast platforms or simply go on YouTube and there's a link for our link tree and you can find everything under that. So you can catch a show in all the platforms that we put it on. So for today, that is it. Thank you for watching and until next time. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching the JTH show. Remember, you can catch all the episodes, full episodes, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Radio Public. You can also visit www.thejthshow.com to catch episodes there and to catch anything that we had to blur out because of YouTube or any other platform. We usually put all of our raw information in there that is uncensored. You can also become a member at www.thejthshow.com to catch all the special perks. Thanks for watching.